What's a food you're not allergic to but find disgusting? I got food poisoning from shrimp. For a long time if smelled shellfish I would violently dry heave and or puke. Now I can stomach the smell, and even can eat one of it fried. Edit. Okay, I'm gonna be having lunch soon, so if you all could stop sending me your food poisoning stories and making me relive that shit, that would be fantastic. I used to love hot dogs as a kid. I got pretty bad food poisoning from a school hot dog when I was 13 and threw it up all night. It was pretty rough and damn near traumatic. PC, it seemed non-stop and it was hard to breathe. It also doesn't help that it coincidentally happened the same day my parents continued their fighting all night and officially split up, and my mom and my sisters went to my grandma's house later that night. Lol. That was in 2006 and to this day I'd still rather starve than touch a hot dog. I have chosen starving for the night over eating one before. Just smelling a hot dog makes me feel sick, just imagining trying to eat one makes me gag. Who in their right mind likes to eat clams? I hear you. And how about clamato juice? I couldn't even believe it was a real thing when I first heard about it. Then I learned people drink Bud Light clamato cocktails that are mass-produced and sold in a can. Holy fuck. People are disgusting. https://blogsimages.newyork1.vi.town.news.com/yaki.herald.com/assets/v3/editorial/5/829b65d95 CCF ATAC F54FAO-OB3506/5v69b1c96 cfad.image.jpg. My family goes to the cottage once a year. It's become a tradition to roast marshmallows by the fire and to make s'mores. Part of the tradition is that every year we end up concluding that marshmallows are gross and overrated and we'd rather just have the chocolate. By the time next year rolls around, we've forgotten enough to give marshmallows another try and the cycle repeats. It's really weird to hear that Americans will eat marshmallow and yam casseroles for Thanksgiving. Roasted or braised radishes become an entirely different vegetable. When they're cooked they have a slightly sweet, nutty flavor that is just delicious and unexpected. They turn very mellow. My two favorite ways are to either 1. Simply toss cut radishes. You want them to be about an inch square, with olive oil and salt, and roast on parchment paper at around 425 until they are soft all the way through and a little browned on the cut sides. And 2. Braise on the stovetop with butter, dry white wine and thyme, or other savory herb of your choosing, until cooked through. Same size as the roasted ones. You want the liquid in your pan to come up about halfway the radish bits, not completely covered, as you want the liquid to reduce a bit so you have a sauce. I think I found both recipes on New York Times cooking page. I just can't because of how intelligent they are and knowing how most are killed, assuming what I've seen is industry standard of course, as I'm not in that industry. They beat them against rocks alive, slice the brain, reverse the mantle or leave them in a hanging net. They're aware enough to know they're on deck and that they need to crawl back to the water. It's not much different than aliens fishing from the top of the atmosphere for humans. http://www.cefsinaction.org/wp/content/uploads/2014/11/j.pereira What We Do to Kill an Octopus.pdf. My childhood babysitter ruined tuna for me. She would force me to eat tuna sandwiches as a kid when I said I didn't like them, and I would sit at the table literally until my mom picked me up. I couldn't be excused because I didn't finish my lunch. That's how much I hated it as a kid, and now I won't even consider it as an adult. I'm a picky eater. Seafood, onions, some cooked are okay. Pate type meats, Brussels sprouts, seaweed, too fishy. Potato salads, macaroni salads, coleslaw. I think it's a texture issue. Organ meats, canned meats. I also don't like my foods touching. For example, if I get tacos, I don't want them touching my beans. Separate plates forever. melon slash cantaloupe slash watermelon. I just can't. Last time I ate a melon I was like 5. The smell already make me want to puke, but the lunch lady at school wouldn't let me go if I didn't finish my plate despite me telling her I really couldn't. I cried, gobbled up the thing, and promptly threw up all over the table. She never bothered me again after that, and no one ever made me eat melon either. I freaking ate the smell and the taste is 10 times worse. Oddly enough, yogurt, buttermilk, etc. I tried tasting some once but immediately spat it out. Never has yogurt, buttermilk reached below my throat. But I do enjoy milk. Once when I was a little kid my parents tried to make me eat some by making my neighbor point a knife at me and fake threaten me to eat yogurt. I didn't budge and started screaming on top of my voice. Nothing serious, just a fun prank. Dill. It smells like cat piss and tastes as well. Not that I have tried cat piss, but I imagine that is how it tastes. For some reason it is also never used in moderation, but the cat piss needs to cover all other tests in the food. Also cherries due to some dental plague testing tablets from childhood. Yuck. They can usually be picked out of dishes, though. Bananas. Sweet bland mush. I can't have it in anything unless it's a baked good. Strawberry banana milkshake, but don't tell me there's banana in it. I'll taste it first sip and give it back. Banana flavored candy? Nope. Banana splits? Hell number. Banana nut muffins or banana bread though? Delicious. Love it. Raisins. Screw raisins. They take a perfectly good baked good or dish and ruin it. My loathing of raisins is well known among my friends and family to the extent that they have intentionally poisoned my food with a raisin. Raisins as a prank. You could have been wine, but instead you're a raisin? I know this is tame compared to what other people have posted, but I hate onions and I hate quiche. I'll go out of my way to pick out onions from food because no matter how hidden they are I'll still taste them. I tried quiche once out of politeness since I was at a get-together years ago and someone had plopped a piece on my plate and I felt I had no choice. It was so insanely salty and no food I've had since then has compared to it, and the person who made it was waiting for me to compliment it as I was gagging it down. I had to come up with some excuse as to why I couldn't finish the rest of it. It's honestly insane how mad people have gotten at me when I said I don't like cheese. Like, doesn't that just mean there's more for you? Fuck though, it's in absolutely everything. Near every recipe on our Guy for Sipes has cheese in it, and the shitty thing is that you could technically take it out, but it's often what makes the recipe, so without it it'd be boring bread or pasta or whatever. Cheese is absolutely disgusting. I'm lactose intolerant now, but for a long time I stopped eating cheese because it is so fucking gross. Genuinely tastes terrible. The smell? Awful. Like something rotten. The taste? Try a pizza without cheese and you will get more flavor. Literally sucks the flavor out of everything it touches. Absolutely giga gross. Fuck dairy products in general, but especially cheese, and how every goddamn place always double checks that I specified no cheese or assumes I didn't fucking mean no cheese and puts it on anyways. Genuinely fuck those places and anyone who thinks cheese is impossible to dislike. It's gross. Mint chocolate. The flavors just never mixed well for my taste buds. I always treated mint as a tool to keep my breath fresh for a short period versus chocolate, which is a flavor you eat for satisfaction and not for purpose, especially in ice cream. It's like eating toothpaste with chocolate syrup. Doesn't make sense for my tongue. Wish it does, but it never did. I can't stand cucumbers or cantaloupe. Cantaloupe in particular is the worst. BC people always include it on fruit salad trays, and there's nothing worse than being excited to eat a beautiful strawberry and having it taste like fucking cantaloupe. I like the taste of eggplant fine, but the texture is horrible. I don't like seaweed and thus I don't like sushi. Mayo, a disgusting creation. The primary reason God has abandoned us for he saw what depravity mankind is capable of. Also when I was a kid I hated tomatoes because one day I was carsick and my mom bought me a burger to make me feel better. Lol. But I ended up barfing it back up later and she was like, I bet it's because it had tomato. You never eat tomatoes, so I just despised tomatoes from then on for years. Only later did I realize my mom was just a bad driver and sold the tomatoes out to avoid the blame. I love tomatoes now. Yogurt. Not the gross faked animal scrap. Not the fancy French whipped garbage sold in glass jars. Not the soupy Indian slurry. And unfortunately not the protein-packed powerhouse that is Greek yogurt. It all looks gross. It all smells gross. And honestly I've been burned too many times to try to put that demon in my mouth. Unpopular opinion, but definitely cheese. I used to like it when I was a little kid and ate mac and cheese all the time. But one day something changed and I just decided it was super gross. I hate cheese by itself, but sometimes I'll eat certain kinds of cheese, mozzarella, parmesan, occasionally cheddar, if they're mixed, infused into other stuff, like pizza or goldfish crackers. Mushrooms and olives. I have tried to like mushrooms, but just haven't been able to enjoy the flavor or texture. I am vegetarian, so mushrooms would be useful for me, especially as many vegetarian restaurant items hinge on mushrooms too. But nay, I love mushies though otherwise. They are super neat looking. I got a lot, most berries, mushy fruits and veggies, fish, soda, peppers as a whole. But the worst of all is Alfredo sauce. It is quite possible the most disgusting food on this whole planet. It tastes like if there was a LaCroix version of how stank cheese and butter that's been browned for too long smell. On top of that it's horribly creamy and thick, like someone poured milk into runny phlegm, heated it on a stove and then slathered it over perfectly good chicken and pasta noodles. I genuinely cannot understand how people enjoy it. I have had many variations of it. Home cooked, school cooked, frozen, takeout, 5-star restaurant, and every single one has been awful. I'll pretty much eat anything over Alfredo sauce. It's not so much disgust, but I'm absolutely terrified of being touched by a peach. I have had this my whole life and I have no idea why, but if I think about them for more than a few seconds I get goosebumps all over my arms and I start to lisp. I can't ever recall touching one, but if I am in a room with them, I fully freak out. The last time it happened was at work. A colleague brought one into a meeting and I started to hyperventilate. Fortunately another colleague knew about my phobia and asked her to remove it. Mushrooms in most forms. I'll tolerate tiny pieces of shiitake in dressings and sauces. Tomatoes in most forms. I'll tolerate red sauce on pizza, but get Alfredo or pesto or Royland cheese on build your own pizza or on pasta dishes. I'm vegetarian and therefore get frustrated when fixed menu events have portobello mushrooms or marinara pasta as the vegetarian entree, and fill up on bread with butter or oil as much as possible, and hopefully there's salad too. Any variety of green beans, no matter how they are cooked. I think they taste weird and the texture is torturous. I will sometimes tolerate yard-long beans in certain Asian dishes. Oh, and anyone who thinks that green bean casserole somehow makes them tolerable, that is a hard number. They still have the same taste and texture no matter how much cream of mushroom soup they are soaked in. I will just pick off the onions. Raw tomato. I really like almost all cooked, processed tomato products. Spaghetti/pizza sauce, salsa if it's from a jar, ketchup, Campbell's tomato soup, but raw sliced tomato is the most disgusting foulness I've ever seen. No pico de gallo or gazpacho. Every few years or so, I'll try a tiny sliver to see if I have changed my mind, but I'm 33 now and not hopeful for the future. Raw broccoli is a beast I want nothing to do with. I love it steamed, stir-fried, sautéed, or in stews, but there's something about it being raw that I just can't do. Other than that, sugar snap peas and asparagus stalks are a large gamble for me, because if I get that fibrous string that's passable to chew, there's a strong chance that I'm going to gag and my delightful meal is going to become cess while attempting to finish it. There's not much I don't eat, if you know what I mean. Paleo. Seriously though, oysters and tomatoes. Tomatoes are weird for me and I feel that I'm not a standout on the issue. I don't mind them cooked or, when raw, the outer part, but the center es no bueno para mí. Pour me. The texture of the middle is not something I enjoy. I worked in fast food and did prep, so it just contributed to my distrust of tomatoes. Also cilantro. I have the genetic markers for cilantro, tastes like soap. Just found that out not long ago. Cottage cheese, cauliflower, mashed potato, shepherd's pie, cottage pie, any pasta sauce combining tomato and dairy products, carbonara sauce, stew, any, meat, cheese and or vegetables in buttered bread, mayo's fine but butter, no, yogurt, any, mushrooms, aubergine, lasagna, pasta bakes, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, peppers and sprayed canned cheese. Why, America? Mayonnaise, makes me sick to my stomach seeing it, hearing the noise it makes in the jar. I was the kind of kid that didn't like to see mayo oozing out from the sides of sandwiches. I use honey mustard now as my go-to. I'll eat a sandwich dry if there's nothing but mayonnaise in the fridge. Edit. Just to add this, my mom had a friend over for tacos and her husband asked where the mayo was. For tacos. FFS. Damn New Yorkers. Cauliflower. I ate it in a soup once and it made my stomach upset. Was never a fan of the taste anyway. Now it just tastes nasty to me. I've had allergic reactions since the cauliflower made me nauseous, so I do know it wasn't an adjective reaction. Well, that and coleslaw. Pickles. Gherkins, especially when they're put in stuff like burgers. Looking forward to that delicious blend of beefy cheesy goodness. Well, tough. It tastes like fucking pickles now. Oh, you think you can take them out? Doesn't matter. Their piss has already soaked through the entire burger. Even if I didn't think they taste fucking horrible, there's no denying they have an incredibly strong, overpowering flavor. Why would you want that in something? Imagine I served you a beautifully cooked steak, then just before it reached the table, I dipped it in spiced vinegar. You'd have full permission to hit me. Eggs. I can handle some eggy things like French toast, but eggs themselves make me throw up. I've tried scrambled, fried, poached, and they just make me instantly puke and I have no idea why. I really want to like eggs, since I love basically all other breakfast foods and I feel like I'm missing out on so many breakfast type things, but I just can't do eggs. Raw tomato. I'm not a baby, so I'll eat it if it's in something, but it tastes absolutely disgusting. I'm totally fine with tomato sauces or anything made with cooked tomatoes. It's only raw ones I have a problem with. I don't know what it is exactly because I can take a bite of a raw onion like an apple no problem, but doing the same with a tomato would probably make me throw up. Bananas. I hate the smell of them and will not eat them. I remember getting up and going back to work early when someone sat down beside me in the lunchroom. When my kids were little, I would cut up bananas for them but then wash my hands a few times in hot water. I really hate bananas. Salmon. I don't find it disgusting. I can choke it down if I have to, but it's not something I choose. My family makes it special on a charcoal grill with the sauce my grandpa made up. It's a family favorite made on vacation every summer when we can get fresh salmon off the docks. For some reason I just don't care for it. They've made me try it every year since I was little. Just a bite. Come on. You'll like it this time. Nope. Sometimes they'll remember I don't like it and get a little piece of some other fish for me. But most of the time I'm stuck with leftovers, which is great because we always make good food on vacation, but it's also nice to have a special meal and not just leftover pasta salad and ham again. Cilantro. Coriander. It will literally ruin any food you put it in for me, no matter how good it would be otherwise. I know that this is a genetic thing, that I have some gene that makes this devil plant taste like a soapy dish rag dredged up from the bottom of an unwashed sink. But wow, it's terrible. Its effect is so powerful, so offensive, and so nasty. People are going to kill me for this. Curd. The smell itself makes me nauseous and I feel like puking. Same goes for milk, buttermilk, custard, yogurt in terms of taste. Basically anything which has taste or smell of milk. Curd. I am not lactose intolerant, but I keep telling people that I am, because in India if you don't like milk, Others would keep pestering you like how is it possible that a person doesn't like milk or curd.